Hello, everyone. Wishing you a wonderful and peaceful day. Today, we'll explore a deeply emotional story about family, responsibility, and the difficult choices made to protect a child's innocence. Through moments of pain, hope, sacrifice, and quiet resilience, you'll witness a mother's determination, a father's regret, and the fragile bonds that still tie a broken family together. This is a journey between prison walls and simple river life, where love, guilt, and hope collide. If you find this story meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss winter had descended, bringing with it a piercing cold that seeped into every corner of the rural village. On the familiar dirt road, dry leaves carpeted the ground, crunching underfoot with every step. In the modest little house, Old Man Dai sat facing Huyen, his face etched with deep wrinkles carved by years and worry. His voice dropped low, slow, but filled with hope. He wanted to take Maya to the prison so that Thuc could see his daughter. He believed that just seeing the little girl would soften Thuc's heart, the wayward son, and give him the motivation to reform, to return home sooner, to reunite with his family. Huyen bowed her head, her hands tightly clutching the hem of her shirt. She understood her father-in-law's pain and the longing of the frail, elderly couple who only wished to see their granddaughter. But in her mind, the image of the bleak prison was vivid. Gray walls, black iron bars, and the heavy echo of locking doors. She could not let Maya, the innocent child about to start first grade, set foot in such a place, even once. Her voice trembled, but was resolute. Prison was no place for children. A single wrong memory could ruin an entire childhood. Old Man Dai continued to persuade her, saying that if Thuc could just see Maya, his heart would change, and he would have hope to live better. Huyen shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. She said that if Thuc truly wanted to change, he had to do it himself. He could not rely on his daughter's innocent eyes. She promised never to teach Maya to turn her back on her father, nor to prevent the two from meeting once Thuc was released. But not today. Old Man Dai sighed, his eyes filled with disappointment and helplessness. He stood up, accepting his former daughter-in-law's decision. Before leaving, he only said one thing: never completely sever the ties of blood. The door closed, leaving Huyen sitting silently in the house, her heart heavy but without regret. She knew she had chosen to protect her daughter's childhood. Elsewhere, the old family home of Thuc was shrouded in gloom. Thuc's mother sat beside her son's warm jacket, which still faintly carried the scent of old sunshine. Her frail, trembling hands gently stroked the fabric. She whispered, her voice choking as she imagined her son suffering in prison, unsure if he had enough to eat or stay warm in the bone-chilling winter. She clutched the jacket to her chest, tears soaking the hem. In her mind appeared the image of Thuc, gaunt, disheveled hair, causing her heart to twist in pain. Old age and illness had worn her down day by day, fueled only by her unending longing for her son. Every time she saw Thuc's clothes hanging silently in the house, her heart shattered. Today, her husband had gone to visit their son, and she had carefully chosen the warmest jacket to send along, hoping it would shield him within those cold walls. Before the ancestral altar, she knelt and prayed, begging heaven and earth to protect her son, to help him stay healthy and reform well so he could return soon. She only wished to lean on him in her old age. Her sobs broke out, echoing in the empty house. She did not know if her son was warm enough. She only hoped this jacket could somehow ease the cold and the pain in a mother's heart as she waited for him day after day. In the kitchen, the atmosphere grew tense. Thuc's mother irritably called out to Mrs. Jai for leaving things scattered on the table: clothes, bags, shoes prepared for the prison visit. Mrs. Jai quickly explained that she had only laid them out to check everything before packing them neatly. Thuc's mother scolded her for being late when they had planned to visit since morning. Mrs. Jai recounted stopping by Huyen's house to ask to bring Maya along, only to be flatly refused. Hearing that, Mrs. Jai immediately advised against mentioning Maya anymore. The court had awarded custody to Huyen. It was best not to interfere with the mother and child. She even remarked that it was fortunate Maya did not live here, or she might turn out badly. Those words enraged Thuc's mother. She fiercely defended the father-daughter bond. Even after the divorce, Maya was still blood. Thuc still had responsibility. Mrs. Jai did not back down, saying Thuc's mother was too stubborn. Then she suggested that when her husband visited, he should ask someone to help reduce Thuc's sentence so he could come home sooner. Thuc's mother immediately objected. She said that once the law had spoken, it must be obeyed. The important thing was self-reform to earn leniency. The family had no money for bribes. She candidly admitted that part of her son's wrongdoing was due to her own indulgence. The kitchen air grew heavy, voices turning sharp and cold. Finally, Thuc's mother told Mrs. Jai to stop talking, reminding her that her husband would soon visit their son and to return early because old age made traveling in the dark difficult. Mrs. Jai fell silent. Thuc's mother sat back down, tormented by thoughts of her imprisoned son and the broken family. As dusk fell, Uncle D stepped into the house in the fading light. Huyen recounted Old Man Dai's visit. Her voice lightened upon receiving agreement from the man beside her. Both believed that children should not set foot in prison. Even if Thuc was Maya's biological father, Uncle D nodded, only hoping Thuc would reform well to have a chance to start life anew. The heavy atmosphere gradually lifted as they returned to daily tasks. Huyen chopped water hyacinths to feed the chickens, the steady sound of the knife echoing in the small kitchen. Uncle D prepared to cast the net, noting that some fish from yesterday remained. Today's catch would be sold cheaply at the market. Bibi playfully ran out, climbing onto the boat and demanding to go fishing too. Huyen called her back because of the cold, then checked the plump chickens that had not yet laid eggs. By the riverbank, Bibi's laughter rang out as the net came up full of small fish. Uncle Day hauled it in, several tilapia thrashing in the glowing red sunset. They chatted about their simple river life, selling vegetables in the morning, fish in the afternoon, scraping by day to day. Though hard, a faint hope flickered in their voices. Today's better catch might cover expenses. Bibi sat on the boat, eyes sparkling at the fish, forgetting the cold. Amid the quietly flowing river, the little family found a rare moment of peace after the storms of the extended family. The river stretched wide under the golden afternoon sun, shimmering like silver. Uncle Day eagerly pulled his new large mesh net, grinning broadly as he felt its heavy weight. Today, the net held only big fish. Bibi sat at the bow, legs dangling, cheering excitedly as fat tilapia thrashed, splashing water everywhere. Huyen stood on the bank, smiling, while warning her daughter to be careful not to slip into the river. She asked if Bibi wanted grilled fish, her voice gentle in the late afternoon calm. Huyen took the opportunity to cut more greens to sell with the fish, keeping the largest ones for dinner. They discussed releasing live fish into the pond for easier sales. Even at low prices, buyers would come. Bibi climbed on and off the boat, tiny hands trying to help pull the net, her face smudged but radiant. Uncle Day ruffled her hair, praising the plentiful catch and saying mother and child would sell vegetables in the morning and fish in the afternoon. Huyen penned the chickens, reminded Bibi to go inside while the adults went to market, then prepared to pick up Maya from school. The working atmosphere brimmed with vitality. The gentle lapping of water against the boat mingled with Bibi's laughter and lively talk about the new net, big fish, and earnings. Though life remained poor, they found small joys in each heavy haul, in plans for selling, and in tonight's warm grilled fish dinner. Watching Uncle D pull the net strongly and Bibi innocently, Huyen's heart warmed. This was her current family, simple, arduous, but full of hope. They headed toward the market, toward Maya waiting, toward another peaceful day passing on the familiar river. Meanwhile, in a completely different place, the cold visiting room appeared, with iron bars separating father and son. Thuc entered and froze upon seeing old man Die already waiting. "Father!" The exclamation burst out in surprise. Old man Die looked at his gaunt son, disheveled hair, darkened skin from hard labor. His heart ached. He scolded Thuc for not listening to his parents years ago, for wasting time gambling and wandering, leading to today's imprisonment. He asked about his son's health, worried whether Thuc was being beaten or lacking food and clothing. Thuc only said he had grown used to it, but old man Die could not hold back his sorrow, reaching out to stroke his son's hair. He told how the mother had just recovered from illness and was too weak to visit. The elderly couple only hoped Thuc would reform earnestly to return soon for reunion. He advised that upon release, Thuc should rebuild his life properly, start a decent family, and absolutely take responsibility for Maya, even though custody had gone to Huyen. Old man Die said he had seen Maya. She was growing fast, obedient, and very much like her father. Then he asked directly about the rumor from Thuc's mother that Huyen was living with another man. He said he had seen it, but was unsure of the truth. Thuc remained silent, head bowed, unwilling to discuss it. Old man Die did not press, only advising his son to distinguish right from wrong, reflect on mistakes, and live better afterward. He handed Thuc the care package and the warm jacket his mother had prepared, urging him to strive for reform, to return soon to his waiting parents. Visiting time was nearly over. Old man Die stood, eyes red. Thuc bowed his head and said softly, "Take care of your health. I will try." The cold clang of the lock cut short the brief meeting, leaving lingering pain in both hearts. Late afternoon, the bustling market teemed with people, vendors' calls echoing everywhere. Huyen and Uncle D displayed fresh live tilapia and lush greens, calling out to customers. Uncle Day weighed fish swiftly, announcing they were only 10,000 per kilo, delicious and fresh. Huyen reminded him that after selling, they must pick up Maya from school so she would not wait long. Today's plentiful large fish drew many buyers. Though tired, they laughed and chatted cheerfully, for the earnings would help support the family. After selling out, Huyen hurried to the school. Little Maya ran into her mother's arms, eyes shining brightly. An aunt led Maya to a market corner and bought her warm socks because of the biting cold. They asked which pair Maya liked. The child giggled and chose the cute patterned ones. Amid the noisy, bustling market, that moment felt unusually warm. The tiny socks seemed a symbol of protection, of a childhood shielded from the shadows of the adult world. Huyen held her daughter tightly. Her heart lightened. Though the past family had shattered and Thuc remained in prison, she knew she was building a peaceful future for Maya day by day. The day ended with children's laughter ringing through the evening market, with the warmth of new socks, and with quiet hope that everything would gradually improve, one day at a time, in their simple yet loving life. The story centers on Huyen, a mother determined to protect her daughter Maya's childhood from the consequences of a broken past. When Mr. Dai wants to bring Maya to prison to see her biological father Thuc, Huyen firmly refuses, believing prison is no place for a child. Meanwhile, Thuc's aging parents live in constant pain and guilt, longing for their son to reform and return home. Amid family conflicts and emotional wounds, Huyen builds a simple new life with Uncle D and the children, earning a living through humble river work. Between sorrow, regret, and responsibility, small moments of peace emerge in everyday life. Quiet love and resilience gradually shape hope, as Huyen strives to ensure that Maya's future is guided by warmth and protection, rather than being overshadowed by the darkness of her family's past.